Welcome into another edition of the Stripe Show podcast. It is a Froggy Wednesday, and this is going to be, listen, I'm going to tell you, this is going to be a hot take podcast. I'm just giving it to you right off the top. It's going to be hot because I've got lots of opinions on what the hell's going on in the golf world. I know my guest has lots of opinions because he always does, and we're also coming off a dominating win by Billy Horschel. Your 7th PGA Tour win, 8th worldwide win. At the Memorial, a special place to win when it's Jack's place. You know he's in the booth the whole week. He's sitting there on 18. You see it. And now you're at your official world golf ranking highest position of 11. Billy, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on a great week, man.
Thanks, Froggy. Yeah, it was a special week. It's obviously always a great thing to win on the PGA Tour. But, when it's Memorial, it's Jack's event. I mean, as I've always said, I'm a golf fan. I watch a ton of golf. I probably watch more golf than any PGA Tour player does on our tour. And so, I've watched Memorial for a long time. I've been blessed to be able to play there for the last decade. And, it's always been one of those things that if you can win that event, to be able to shake Jack's hand and he congratulates you for stellar play that week and winning his event, it's a pretty special moment.
I mean, I think anytime you win a tournament that, Tiger Woods has won so many times, that's a special place to him. And I was watching the TV broadcast and I heard you mention to Jack that, hey, I did some things that I've learned by watching Tiger and watching you and managing the golf course.
You're exactly right. I think I was lucky enough in 2013 to play the final 2 rounds with Tiger out at Farmers. He played an unbelievable 3rd round, and then the final round he didn't play great. He didn't hit it good, and he sort of managed his way around, had a sizable lead, and just made sure he didn't do anything stupid. I've watched Tiger enough and how he closes out tournaments, and I wasn't alive when Jack was in his heyday winning his, but you always heard Jack was an unbelievable course management guy, plotted his way around the golf course, and when you're leading a golf tournament, you don't have to do anything special. Let the guys behind you do something special. And then if you need to step your game up, then you got to step your game up. You got to have that switch that you can flip to make sure you close it out. So, yeah, I mean, I think I've learned over my 13 years, when I get in a situation to win a tournament, I've been very good I at least know how, and I feel like I'm pretty good at closing out events.
Oh, for sure. Did you did you hear from Tiger after your win?
Yeah, Tiger texted me. Yeah.
I figured he would.
He was really happy for me. And then he said, and which, Tiger's not one to kiss ass.
Right.
But, I didn't understand it because he texted me and said, I could never imagine playing that well at that course the way you did. And I was like, dude, you won there so much. What are you talking about? And then it took me like a day and a half because I kept going back and looking. I'm like, okay, I get what he's saying. Like, I think I only made like 3 or 4 bogeys that week. I just played really solid. I think I didn't miss many greens, and just the way I did things, I think that was what was impressive to him. And so, Tiger's a great friend, and so for him to say something like that, it meant a lot. And like I said, Tiger's been great, and you've seen how he's reached out to JT, and him and JT have a great relationship. So if you're lucky enough to sort of be a friend of Tiger, he's always there to bounce things off of, and he's always there to congratulate you, and he's always there to bust your ass.
It's great he's that supportive, though. It's good because, like you said, he doesn't befriend everybody, but the people that he does befriend, he's super supportive of, and it's great that you have that relationship with him. I do have one question because, Billy, I've known you for a while, and I've never heard the name Daddy Horschel. However, if you watched the broadcast on 8, as you're walking up 18 fairway, this was the sound walking up 18 fairway. So that is obviously your 3 children, Skylar, Axel, and
Colby,
and Colby, and then Brittany's there, and they're calling you Daddy Horschel. Now, Brittany said that came from some drunk guy on Friday afternoon. How'd that happen?
I have no clue. Like I said, I would never call myself Daddy Horschel. That's just not me. I'm not, as much as I don't have nicknames for people. Everyone is big man, my man, what's up,
Right.
buddy?
Right.
That's what my three go to are whenever
You
I'm
see
talking
somebody
to
that you
somebody.
know that you like. Yeah.
What's up, big man? What's up, my man? Uh, but so I'm not a nickname person at all. And so I asked my wife later on, like, why do they call me Daddy Horschel? And then she told me, well, we were out there watching the last couple of holes on Friday, and there was this drunk guy who who yelled, Daddy Horschel, Daddy Horschel. And next thing you know, my little man and the two girls just start yelling Daddy Horschel. And like they didn't say anything Friday night, they didn't say anything Saturday, but they get out there Sunday and they just start saying it Sunday on 18 green. I'm like, what the heck? But it's a cute moment, and it was pretty cool. So
It is. It really is a special moment. Billy, my question is, you've won a bunch of different ways. You've come from behind and won. You've had a 1-shot lead. You've won now with a 5-shot lead. What is more difficult to sleep on a Saturday night going into Sunday?
That's a great question. Um, it's got to be the 5-shot lead, because it's yours to lose. It's yours to win.
Did you
If
feel that
you
way Saturday night? Did you feel like I have to pull this off? If I don't, I lost it. This tournament's mine to lose.
listen, I was very aware of it. I wasn't focusing on it. It wasn't like I think if I had never thought about having a 5-shot lead or envisioning myself having a 5-shot lead or a considerable lead going to the final round, I think that would have been really tough for me. But I've always felt like, I knew it was going to be a tournament. Hopefully, it's more than one where I play really good. I play to what my ability is, where I'm not one, when my team says, was that a perfect swing or was that the best swing ever or best round? Like, I don't ever give myself the benefit of doubt. I always say, hey, it can be better. It can always be better.
Right.
But I played so good on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Oh,
Uh,
Saturday was, I mean,
yeah.
I've watched you play a lot of golf, Billy. I don't know that I've ever seen you hit it better than you hit it on Saturday.
Yeah. I told media after round Saturday, I hit it better in Hilton Head than I did there. I didn't putt nearly as good at Hilton Head, but I striked at Hilton Head. I think I was like second or third in strokes gained approach. I mean, I absolutely just striked it for the 4 days pretty much. But that Saturday, that third round at Memorial, by far my best round ever on the PGA Tour. And so I've always, so I had always envisioned myself having a big lead before at some point.
Mhm.
And, I gave myself credit for how well I played on Friday and Saturday. Like, I'm not going to say I surprised myself, but if someone had asked me, and the only team member I had there was Foch, but if my stats guy Horschel was there, or TA was there, they would have asked a question along the lines of, is that the best you've ever played or over 36 holes? And I would be like, yeah, that's probably some of the best rounds I've ever had. And I would have admitted that, and they would have been shocked because I don't admit anything. I really don't. But yeah, it was a special weekend. Like I said, it was nice to finally play up to, or at least close to, what my ability is in this game of golf and my talent,
Right.
more than just one round. So I was really pleased with that, to finally be able to show, um, that I have more in the tank than what I may have shown in other previous tournaments before.
How important has Foch been to this recent string of playing well?
He's been instrumental. He came on, really just a year ago. He came on a year ago at Colonial, and we have done some great work. He's worked for some unbelievable players: Justin Rose, Lord Davies. He's won majors on LPGA. He's won majors on the PGA Tour. He's won, Solheim Cups. He's been on numerous European teams. So he's seen the best of the best. He's seen what it takes to be great. And he just brought a certain level of expertise, confidence already, that we had a bag man that was going to be huge in the moments, and was going to bring value, and certain things we have done in our preparation and our practice that he brought to the table, that we've been implementing for the last year. It's starting to show over the last 6 months,
Right.
which is really nice. So, he was that missing puzzle piece that my entire team, you know, we've been looking for. and we thought we've had a couple of them, but it just unfortunately didn't work out. And this was the one that was truly the right fit. And you know, this is just the beginning for us, and I'm excited to see, you know, I'm excited to see what it has in store for us, and hopefully it has a few majors in store, because I really believe, you know, with my ability and what my talent is, and with way we are as a team and how great we are as a team, there's not many better than us.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that. How important was he on Saturday on the back nine when things had gotten a little tight? I mean, let's be honest. You had a 5-shot lead as the day starts off, and it had one point, I think once or twice, it got down to 2 shots, and then that eagle putt on 15 was just, I mean, something otherworldly, because he had already made birdie. So if you act, you know, that's no easy putt. You 3-putt there, you now got it. It's down to 2 again.
Yeah.
Was there any point where you were frustrated after it gets down to 2 points? Maybe you don't hit a good drive, where Foch kind of stepped in and kind of calmed you down and was able to get you back on track?
You know, shockingly, no. Shockingly, no. You know, I watched the re-air, and Dottie Pepper says, you know, I was frustrated in my body language, some of the commentators were thought I was losing it. And I honestly, I was nowhere even close. I was so calm all day. I never worried at all. I was, you
Were you
know,
aware it had gotten down to 2 shots at any
oh
point?
yeah, yeah.
You
I
were
knew where
aware.
I stood the entire. Yeah, I always knew
Yeah.
where I stand. Um, you know, I think the reason Fuchs didn't need to step in is over last year we've seen each other in different, you know, scenarios, and you got to learn from those situations, when to step in, when not to. And when we won Wentworth, I was playing so great, and there was nothing that needed to be said. Hey, let's just keep doing what we're doing, you know, just keep going. Like, there's no words of motivation. And Bay Hill was one of the funny ones. You know, get off to a rocky start, sell it back with a birdie at 5, then we make double at 6, bogey 8, hit it drive down the middle of fairway at 10, and make a bad bogey. And I hit a stripe the tee shot 11, and walking off number 11, and Fuchs is doing what he should, being, you know, trying to make sure, trying to see where I am, trying to keep me motivated, keep me in the game, you know, saying, hey, let's just shoot 2 on this backside, and I guarantee you, we shoot 2 under, we're going to win this tournament, or we're going to have it, or we're going to at least, you know, we're going to win this tournament. And you know, he's going on, and I'm like, Fuchs, enough. And he's going on like, Fuchs, enough. I finally said, fuck, Fuchs, enough. I'm good. Trust me, I'm good. I don't need my ass to be kissed right now. Like, I'm in a great spot.
Right.
I'm not worried about what just happened. I know, you know, I've hit a couple bad shots. I had a couple shots not turn out, you know, but I'm fine. I'm totally okay.
Right.
And so he looks at me and said, okay, good. I'm done. I'm good. Okay, we're good. We're good. And so it's just one of those things where, because we're still so new as a team,
Right.
he's trying to figure out, you know, and you know, when we get in these situations that we haven't been before, he's trying to read me, trying to understand where I am. And so he was doing his job, and I did my job to make sure that he knew I was all good. So in that situation on Sunday, when, you know, it was getting a little tight, and he could see what I was doing, like, he didn't say anything, you know, say, hey, we've got this, or anything like that. Like, I'm not a big ass kisser. I'm not a big, like, you know, rah guy.
Right.
You know, I'm more or less like, hey, give it to me straight. I'll take care of business then. Like,
Right.
that's the way I like it. And so, you know, we just, you know, we didn't even have a conversation about it
That's
at
great.
all.
That's
And
great.
so we just kept going on doing what we did. And like I said, he's the best. And, you know, he was really instrumental in making sure we were making the right decisions coming down the stretch and hitting the right golf shot that gave us the best chance to you know, just not to F up, really.
Right. You know what's great is that people always, I mean, let's be honest, when you hear Billy Horschel, you think about the fiery, emotional player that we see. And you've been very upfront and honest, said, hey, I'm not going to change who I am. This is exactly who I am on the golf course. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I expect a lot out of myself. When I don't perform, I'm going to give it to myself. You're not giving it to playing competitors. You're not giving it to anybody else. It's never everybody else's fault. See, that's a lot of things, is that a lot of guys that act that way, they're blaming other people for things that aren't going their way. You're not. I've heard plenty of, come on, Billy, that's a terrible shot. Like, you talk to yourself. But it was great to see the other side of Billy Horschel for the world to see it on Sunday. That was awesome with your family and with Mr. Nicholas and just everything. It was truly awesome. Now, I know you're not into ass kissing, so I'm done kissing your ass. But I think the world of you, Billy. When you have a great round, I always shoot you a quick text and say, "Hey, man, congrats." I know you're not into ass kissing, but I just think that it was great for the world to see the other side of Billy Horschel that not everybody gets to see all the time.
Yeah, I try to tell people going forward that what you see on the golf course is just me at a vulnerable state, playing at a highly competitive level, trying to play at what I feel is my ability on a daily basis. And when it doesn't work, like, I get upset. Like, that's
Right.
okay. Like,
Right.
that's one side of me. That's me competing. Like, that's just like any other athlete in their arena or their realm, competing on a daily basis. And it's no different than someone being at work and
No.
trying to, accomplish their job on a daily basis. So, to judge somebody by, what they see and how, they are in the golf course, it's sort of like judging a book by its cover, but that's okay. You know
Right.
what? It is what it is. But yeah, I
They're
mean,
wrong, but it's fine. You can be wrong. You're entitled to be wrong.
yeah, you are. And you know what? That's why I said, I think I said a month or two ago at Zurich, I don't really care anymore.
You
Um,
shouldn't.
the people that know me know I'm a good guy, and I treat people the right way, and I do things correctly, and I love my family and everything. But yeah, I'm not. It was nice. It was nice to finally have a family at my kids and my wife had a victory for the first time. It's something that I was trying to accomplish for the last couple of years, and to finally make it happen is truly special.
Yeah, golf is one of those sports where you see what's going on all the time. If you were to put a camera on, let's just say Tom Brady, for example, when things don't go his way, he's upset. When he's on the
Yeah.
sidelines, you're watching the defense play. You don't see what's going on. He's upset. The problem is when something happens on the golf course, you're in the spotlight, and especially when you're in the lead. And the first little thing that there's a slight anger issue, it shows up on social media, it goes everywhere, and it's exacerbated when there's really not a problem.
And it's funny because people think I go 0 to 100 real quickly, and it's not. Like, it's built up inside of me, inside of me, inside of me, inside of me, and then it gets to a boiling point, and it just pops.
Right.
And so,
And anybody
and
that
then
plays
and
golf
and then
understands that.
and then I'm over, and then I'm over, and then I'm done, and then I move on. Like, it's over and done with, and then I'm back down to zero, and then
Right, it's a pressure
hopefully it
release
doesn't.
valve.
Exactly, and hopefully it doesn't build back up again before the round's over again.
Right.
So,
Exactly. No, I agree with you. You know what, man? Congratulations. It was great to see. It really was an amazing win on Sunday, and it's great to see your world golf ranking go up. And you really have played really well. Did something click between you and TA recently?
um,
Because it has seemed to really be. You've had a great season. I think you had a second at the Zurich. You had a T2 at Bay Hill. You got your win. You played very well at the Dell match play. I mean, it's real. Has something clicked recently?
yeah, I think it's just it's all the hard work we've been putting in. Sometimes these also don't show, and um, the big key is just the iron play. The iron play hasn't really been consistent the last couple of years, and for it to finally show up and everything has been unbelievable. And yeah, kids are back from camp.
Hey
Um,
guys.
Say wave it, wave.
That was my favorite. Oh, my favorite part is when was it her that said, "Did you win? Did you win?" And when you said yes,
They
she was.
both. Yeah,
That
Skylar
was
Skylar asked first, and then Colby, and then little man goes, "Hey, Dad, look at the blimp up in the air." So that's what he said to me.
that's so awesome, man. I'm telling you, it was good to see it. I do. I'm not crazy enough to think that it's. I realize that I'm a little closer to it, so I understand it a little, means a little more. But it really was. It's something about our sport that makes it different than really anything else, and so it's fun to watch. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know
but back to
people.
TA.
Go
But
ahead.
back to TA. But back to TA. It's just the iron play. Our iron play is a lot more consistent. We're giving ourselves a lot more chances for birdies.
Hmm.
Where maybe the last couple of years we've only had really 4 or 5 legitimate opportunities. Now we're having you know 9 to 12 legitimate opportunities
Right,
around the
and you're
golf.
putting well.
And I've putted well for the last 5 years. And it's funny because I laugh at the commentators and the analysts and like, well, when Billy putts well is when he plays well. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? My stats show I've been a top 15 putter the last 5 years on the PGA Tour. It's not the putting. Like, let's call it what it is. It's my iron play. It's been awful, and so That's been the big key, and it's just trying to get the swing a little bit better and getting the club in a proper spot. And we hit on some things earlier this year that's just been the key, and we've just been sticking with them. And then that's what has led to the more consistent play as of late.
It says a lot about you sticking with TA too, and the steadfast approach that you guys have, that you're not one to quick and go, okay, this isn't working, I'm going to go try another coach. I'm going to go try a different way because what we're doing is not working. TA's been your coach for years. You guys have stayed with the game plan, stayed with it, and now look, success has really been, I mean, this has been a very good season for you, and there's still 2 more majors left in this year, and one of them at the home of golf.
Yeah, exactly. I sort of joke about, when guys switch teachers, I love seeing it happen because you know what? If they've had success with one teacher for a while and they start switching around, they're not going to have success, like they had before. They're looking for a quick fix, a Band-Aid or whatever it is, in my opinion. And, the other thing too is guys don't understand how their body works. So you go from one teacher who's seen you for so long, understands your bodies, your movement, and you see this other teacher who's having success with other players. And like, oh, I want to go work with him because his players are having success. And then, but you don't know his teaching style. You don't know his personality. You don't know, a lot about, what he teaches and if it works
Right.
for the way you swing a golf club. And so when you go that way, you're gambling on your sort of that golf career at that stage, whatever that many months you are with that teacher. And some of them find it and it's worked out really well, but majority of them, it doesn't work out in the end. And so, yeah, TA and I have been together since 2008. He understands me completely. Skyler, he understands
Hey,
me
Skyler.
He understands me completely. We were best friends. And yes, and there have been times when we've both been frustrated and then not being able to figure it out and wanting to hit it better and everything. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's I stick with a guy who has got me to where I am. And I trust him wholeheartedly. And I know we will figure out the recipe sooner or later.
Right.
Why give up on something that has been successful and we're just having we're having a little bit of a lull at the moment, and we know we're going to get back to where we need to be.
Yeah, Tiger Woods made everybody think golf was easy and just win all the time. That's not how it works. When
No.
it's got ebbs and flows, and you've got to stay with those. But the big, huge story of the day, and as we get ready for tomorrow, we are doing this on a Wednesday, so tomorrow's the RBC Canadian Open, and also I don't know if I guess it's starting tomorrow or maybe starting Friday. I don't really understand.
I think it's tomorrow.
The new Live Golf Series and their first event coming up in London, and it has been all the talk. We've speculated for a long time on whether this was really going to happen. There were times it seemed dead in the water. There were times it seemed like it was going to happen. And now here we are. Billy, where do you stand on everything that's going on with the Live Golf Series?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've talked about it, last couple of days doing some other media requests. I've had chats with guys on tour. We've talked about it, I know the guys who are going to go play Live. I know the guys who are interested who would love to go play Live. I know the guys who are happy where they are on the PGA Tour. But at the end of the day, it's an enticing tour because it offers a lot more money than what we play for on a regular basis now. It offers a shorter season. And so, if you're someone who's in a certain age range or whatnot, and you're looking to maximize your career, your earnings at the end of your career, then, you may do it. Or if you made quite a bit and you got family, you want to start spending more time with your kids or whatever, then you've got that opportunity. So, it's a tough scenario. As I've said all along, I love the PGA Tour. I've been pro PGA Tour. I have a lot of close friends that work for the PGA Tour, and obviously living here in the Ponte Vedra area, I'm very close with the PGA Tour. So I'm happy with what our product is. I know we're not perfect. I know where changes are going to come to make our product even better. And I know even when those changes come, I know that's not the final say all. We still have a deeper way to go to even make our tour even better. But the one thing I will say, against the PGA Tour, and I've said this to them, so I'm not saying anything they don't know. I've said this even before the Saudi thing ever came around. I've ever heard of it. This is almost 10 years ago, almost right around after I won Zurich or FedEx Cup. You know, I said, if I play my 15 events and I keep my card, which is the most minimum requirement the PGA Tour asks of you, then I should be able to go play wherever I want, anywhere in the world, you know? And they're like, well, you only get 3 releases, 3 conflicting event releases. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense. I'm playing 15 events. I'm meeting my minimum requirement. I should go play wherever I want beyond my 3 events. So I understand their argument when they come back and they give me their side of it and why that's not the case. And there's several other top players on the PGA Tour that are sticking with the PGA Tour, but also feel pretty strongly about the 15 and keeping your card should be enough for the PGA Tour, and then you should be able to go wherever you want. You know,
Wow.
I was hoping that this would be guys play 15 on our tour. If they want to go play Saudi for 14, they've got to play 29, 30 events a year. If that's what they want to do, and they want to play 30 events a year, that's fine. So be it. Then you know they're playing a lot of golf and they're going to be more exhausted than they are now. But like I said, it's a tough, sticky situation.
It is.
But I truly believe, you know, everyone has a different reason for doing what they do, and they're making the best decisions for themselves, and their future. And for me, my future is a PGA Tour. I love what they do. I have unbelievable sponsors that have been behind me for many, many years, and I'm fortunate enough that I get compensated very well off the golf course financially. And I don't want to lose those relationships. Not, you know, the money thing's one thing, but those relationships mean a lot to me. And anyone who's ever been a sponsor or a partner of mine understands how big relationships are, and that when you are a partner or a sponsor of mine, you're family, and that's the way you're treated.
I have tons of questions, and maybe some of them you don't know the answer to, but I know that you have much more insight than most people do. The names that have gone, whether it be the money that's been reported, Phil Mickelson at 200 million, DJ at 150 million, and then the other guys. I don't know what some of the other guys, the Taylor Gooches and Hudson Swaffords and those guys, I don't know what they got. Is this money being doled up front? Do you know?
So from what I've been told, or from what I've heard, you know, you're just never sure if it's true. It's sort of like they're getting a signing bonus. So they figure out what that signing bonus amount is.
Okay.
Every player is different. And then from what I've also been told on top of that, they're getting paid a yearly salary on top of that. So there's one player I will not name. He got an offer. It wasn't high enough. He gave them a big number. They offer was somewhere in the 8 to 10 million range. He countered at, you know, 18 to 22 million, and they came up to 10, and then they came up to 12, and then, you know, supposedly it was going to get close, and they never got to his number, but that was going to be a signing bonus. And then from what I was told, he was going to get paid, I think, somewhere between $2 to $4 million a year for every year he played through 24, 25. So so it sounds like from what I've heard and everything, there's a signing bonus, and then there's some guys, not everyone, I'm guessing, is getting paid some type of, you know, salary per year.
Now, what is the commitment? Do you know is the commitment just to play golf, or are there other things involved?
That's what I don't know. I'm guessing the commitment is just to play golf. You have to play in every event. From what I was told, they have 8 events this year. They have 10 events next year. You have to play in all 18 events to get all your money. Is what I was told or heard. So I don't know of any other commitments outside the golf course. You know, I know commentators said, well, you're going to have to go to the prince's daughter's, you know, birthday party or whatever. You know, I don't know if that's really true. And that's just somebody making up maybe some BS. But like I said, I don't know a lot. It's only what I've heard and what I've been told through other players. And I'm not one to ask guys like, hey, what are you getting paid?
Right.
You know, how's it all working out? You know, that's just not me. It's, you know, if they want to divulge that information themselves to me, you know, I'm willing to listen.
Right. Can the PGA Tour stand by this lifetime ban, do you believe? Or will they? Let me ask you.
That's a great question. Sorry, I got to plug in my iPad. It's dying. So can they stand by it? Obviously, they feel they're in the right and that they are able to do that. Let me get that voice. So that's even worse. There we go. We'll go this way. I don't know. That's something that's beyond my level of knowledge and expertise in that legal situation.
Because they seem like as if they've drawn a line in the sand where we are going to stand on this.
Yeah, they are.
First, it looked like it deterred a lot, but now it's like, okay, hey, now let's see how much they're really willing to stand on it.
Yeah, you know what? They are going to stand on it, and it would look really bad if they backtrack. It looks weak, and the tour is not going to look weak. And you know what? They've got a lot of support from the players that are sticking with the PGA Tour, that they want them to be strong on it. They don't want them to be soft on it. So I don't know how that's all going to play out. I'm expecting some type of suspension that may lead to a ban. We, even being part of the pack, we're not privy to that information. And everyone is like, well, is the tour going to make an announcement? I said, the tour doesn't announce fines and suspensions unless it's performance-enhancing drugs. So would they maybe in this one-time scenario change that and announce publicly, possibly, to make a statement? Or we're going to find out when they tell those guys what their ban or suspension is, and then we'll find out that issue. But the one thing that's I've been curious about the last 4 or 5 days, all these guys are resigning, and I read today that they're resigning because by resigning their membership from the PGA Tour, they feel the PGA Tour now can't come at them at a legal situation. Right. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true or not. But what's so shocking to me is that for the last 5, 6 months, even longer, all I've heard is that if this goes to a court case, the live lawyers have told all the players and all the agents, we will support you guys. We feel the tour cannot win this case. They are some antitrust act or whatever it is, anti-work, whatever it is.
Creating a monopoly and all that.
Yeah. So if that's the case, and that's what I've heard and read in stories for so long, now they're just going to go ahead and sort of, resign and not do a legal situation. Like they're not going to stand firm and stand their ground. Like that's crazy to me. Like you've heard it for so many months now that's what they were going to do. They were going to fight the PGA Tour. The players were not going to resign. They were going to stick, stand up to the PGA Tour. So I just think it's somewhat hysterical to me that guys are resigning now, so they can't be sanctioned by the PGA Tour, so they can hopefully get unrestricted sponsor exemptions into PGA Tour events. If they think that's the case, I'm going to tell you what, the PGA Tour, they have it. Yes, the tournament has a say in who their sponsors are, but I'm going to tell you what, the tour is going to make it very clear that they don't want any of those unrestricted sponsor exemptions to go to players that are playing the live. That's what I don't know that for a fact. I don't know that's what we're going to do, but if I was a tour, that's what I would say, in my opinion. That's what I can only predict.
My question is, what is the return on investment with all this? So if they've given Phil 200 and they've given DJ 150 and they're paying all these guys, they don't have a TV deal. So there's no TV money. There are no sponsors. If you go on the livegolf.com website, there are no sponsorships. They're basically giving tickets away for free. If you use a player's name and the code 25 or whatever, the tickets are free. So far there's no income, but they're putting all this money out. If that's not sports washing, I don't know what is. I mean, I just don't see how this continues. And to second off of that, if you've watched any of this, I know you've been extremely busy, but I've watched some of the press conferences and I've seen how they're doing stuff. It looks like it's marketed by an 8-year-old. It's not good. And I don't understand how these guys go from something on such a high level as the PGA Tour, who does everything at a top-notch level, and then goes to this, and they don't look at each other and go, What did we do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I haven't seen any of the press conferences. I've just seen, some reports that they've stopped some press conferences based off some questions from the media. I haven't read any of the players' statements. I don't
Graham
know.
McDowell made some weird statements yesterday that said, "Yeah, I know what these guys did was terrible, but I just want to play golf." Like it's just, it just doesn't sit well with me. I don't care about the competition for the tour. I'm fine with somebody wanting to compete with the
Yeah.
tour. I understand when you have the best product in the world of what you do, that you're going to have people who want to get a piece of the pie. I got no issue with that. That's exactly what capitalism is all about. However, where this money comes from and the way that things are done there, that is what bothers me.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's funny because I've told the tour this for a while. When I'm saying things to them and trying to get my point across, I'm like, hey, what is stopping some you know company or some guy who has connections with companies all around the world from creating his own tour, where he's going to pay, the purses are going to be more, and they come
Right.
up, something like this, but it's not 54 hole shotgun start or whatever,
Right.
but it's a better PGA tour. What stops someone from doing that? Because it's going to happen. The tour has been, they've been very successful the last 50, 60 years now.
Right.
And so, and they've had really no other competition inside the U.S. They've had the European tour, but it's really never, could materialize to what the PGA Tour is. And so, yes, there's going to be competition, and this isn't going to be the last one. There's going to be someone else that comes along the way, in my opinion. At some point in time, whether I'm still on the PGA Tour or not. But that's the interesting question. People ask me, like, did I have a number? Like, if Liv came to you with a number and
God,
met
you
your
just read
number,
my next question. My next
like,
question was, well, hold on, Billy. I'll ask you point blank because I don't mind asking you. Were you contacted ever? Have you ever been contacted for a chance to play on the Live Tour?
we weren't for 2 years, and then earlier this year, someone out of the blue reached out to me. That is an acquaintance that I know a little bit through some people. I passed them off to my manager, Sherry, just to, honestly, just talk to. Like, I told Sherry, I said, hey, you talk to him, you figure out, but I said, listen, I'm pretty happy where I am. And even if
Right.
they do meet my number, I don't know if I would go, for the sole fact that, when I do the pros and cons, and a lot of decisions I make, big decisions in my life, there's a pros and cons list I put together. And, all the pros, there wasn't many pros in the live stuff, in my opinion. There was a lot of cons, and there was a lot more pros in my PGA Tour and in my life. What this would, the life I have now, and then what would the life have be if I went with live, and how would I, be looked upon. And that was a big thing for me, is that, the money's one thing, and the money's great, and I've been very fortunate enough to make a lot of money in my career already at this stage. So, having, them giving me more money, and sort of getting me to a point that, was going to take me maybe another 10 to 12 years, and I could get to it right away. Yeah, that was very enticing. But like I said, I was very happy with the PGA Tour. And the thing that I didn't want to have happen is that my wife and I have done some unbelievable things off the golf course and with our philanthropic endeavors. And I didn't want to bring, have those be overshadowed. I didn't want those to be lessened in any sense. And, as much I don't care what people think about me and, what I do on the golf course, I am a person. I do care what people think about what I do off the golf course and how I'm giving back to the game of golf. And that would be with AJGA, and that be with APJ Tour, and that be with
Feeding Northeast, Florida.
Feeding Northeast Florida, and our other charities that we support. And that was going to be a tough one, if people were forgetting about what I did off the golf course and were forgetting about all that, because that's what I would rather be more recognized for than what I do on the golf course.
So, is there a number that would make you go?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a number that makes me go. I mean, that's tough. I mean, my wife and I had those conversations, and we're like, well, what if they do come with that number? And I'm like, I still don't know. I still don't know. Like it's not like, okay, I'm gone. They're giving me this much money. Like
Right.
I don't know.
Do you think
Because
winning last week changes anything for you? Do you think winning last week makes you more enticing for them?
I don't know. I think they. Let me tell you this. I think they know I'm very pro PGA Tour, and I'm very friendly with the PGA Tour, and I have a very close relationship with the PGA Tour, and I don't think they really want to come anywhere close to touching me for the sole fact that maybe some information that they give me, I may pass on to the PGA Tour. I have no clue.
Right. I've
But
noticed
like
this week, we've seen guys like we went from was this even going to happen? It looked dead in the water to now they've got a decent roster. As they start their first event, they do have a decent roster, and now they've added. It looks like if you read the reports today, they've added Bryson, they've added Patrick Reed. I also read another report that Ricky Fowler could be headed over there. So it's as if they're putting together a decent roster. Do you think the PGA Tour is somewhat surprised at the quality of players they are getting?
um, man, that's a good question. I think
Are you surprised? Are you surprised that has a name
there's not
crossed?
one name. Taylor Gooch is the one that surprised me
Agree. I'm with you.
because all the other names I had heard, the one name that I didn't realize was Hudson Swafford, and Hudson's a solid player, and he's got 3 PGA Tour wins. But Taylor Gooch is a bigger name than Hudson Swafford. And
Right.
Taylor Gooch is 30 years old, and Hudson's 32 or 33. So they're similar in ages and everything. But Taylor Gooch has brought more to the table as of late. And I know Hudson won this year, and this is nothing against Hudson Swafford
No.
at all. Nothing against Hudson Swafford. But Taylor Gooch just seems to, he's attracted more of an audience, and people are recognized him a little bit more. So, the
Were
names
you
don't.
surprised at DJ?
No, I knew I heard DJ. I had a DJ at Phoenix.
Oh, you did.
He was going at Phoenix. So I had heard that at Phoenix that he had signed on that Friday at Phoenix. And so, sorry, trying to charge your iPad again.
No, you're good.
And so that's what I had heard. I obviously he made a statement, the week after that he was committed to the PGA Tour, but we always knew that if the tour was ever going to get really going, have some big names, they'd have to get a DJ, or they would have to get, obviously they got Bryson, which we knew of, and I think people are a little shocked by maybe if Ricky goes. Obviously, I read a report yesterday that Ricky is possibly going to live, and that would be
I have too.
a little bit shocking. But
Does Patrick Reed surprise you?
no, I heard Patrick a little bit. But the Ricky situation is that Ricky hasn't come out and said it, but I think he doesn't want to play past a certain age. And so, you know, maybe that's what he's doing. He's realizing, I've got another 5 to 7 years left in this game of golf, and they're paying me a lot of money, possibly. And Ricky's made a lot of money. Ricky's made a lot of money. We all know Ricky's made a lot of money. But it's just sort of like, hey, 5 to 7 years, I can make really make a lot more money in 5 to 7 years right now on the LIV than I can on the PGA Tour. So that's the one that hurts, I think, in my opinion, even for me, because Ricky, I've known Ricky since he was 18, and I love Ricky to death, and he's been an unbelievable ambassador for the game of golf. And so to possibly see him leave the PGA Tour and not be able to play, again, that one hurts. But like I said, I don't fault any guy for making the decision that they made. That's their. I don't know what came down to the decision and what their priorities were, but they made the decision that they thought was best for them.
Do you know of any players that wanted to go and LIV doesn't want them per se?
Yeah, I think yeah. I think I know of probably 5 to 10 guys, the sort of mid-level PGA Tour players, that were maybe hoping to get an offer or get contacted or may have reached out. But like I said, I mean, for someone who's been on tour for 10 years and only made probably, in those 10 years has probably made $15 million, $16 million. And, they got offered to, an opportunity to make 15 or $16 million in 3 to 5 years easily. that's very enticing to a player like that. So, I can understand why someone who, a journeyman, a mid-level PGA Tour player would do that. Richard Bland, I've become, fairly good friends with him over the last year, and he's 49 years of age. He has no status on the Champions Tour coming up. He would still love to play at DP World, and so he got an opportunity to go play on the Live Tour. And if he's able to make, 15-18 million dollars over the next 4 years of his career, it sort of sets up his entire life, the rest of his life, because he's struggled for so many years on European Tour. So I sort of told him, I said, dude, I don't fault you. I understand why you're doing it. And that's why I said everybody's priorities are completely different, and everyone's doing it for a different reason. So I don't fault them, but like I said, I still come back to me. I love what I play. I love the PGA Tour. I love going to events I've been to for so many years and seeing the same faces and playing the same courses and having the same feeling and excitement that I have when I go to Memorial or Zurich or go to Bay Hill or come play the Players Championship or go out and play on the West Coast. Like, that's what I love. And that's what was going to be tough, if I had made a decision to go the other way. That was going to kill me. And so, like I said, there was more pros that outweighed anything on the Live Tour to stay on the PGA Tour.
Now, coming up next week, we've got the U.S. Open, and they have said that they are going to allow these guys who are playing this week on the Live Tour to play the U.S. Open. How do you think these guys will be received at the U.S. Open, the guys who have made the jump and are making the jump? Do you feel like there will be some animosity from players when they arrive at the U.S. Open?
Listen, I know there's certain players that aren't happy that some guys jumped. I know that I've had conversation with those players, but at the same time, I think the majority of players could care less, don't really care.
Do you care? Is there
No.
anybody that jumped that you're upset with?
No, like I said, I'm not upset with anyone at all. I may not agree with their decision to go, but I'm very, at peace with that's what they did. And why am I gonna worry about them when I can worry about myself and worry about trying to make the PGA Tour better?
I mean, it's also less players that are there to play in events that gives you. I mean, I hate to say this, it makes winning maybe a little bit easier.
You said it. I didn't. It's not like I haven't thought about that before. So trust me. You said it, not me. It's been in my head, but you said it. So
I mean, I hate to say that, but it's real. I mean, it's less people, and so I mean, do you have a problem with them being able to play the majors, and do you think that will continue, or do you think moving? It's hard to change it now. Like we're in this season, but do you think it's a case of next season they maybe say, hey, to play in the Masters, the PGA, you must be a PGA Tour or a DP member or an Asian Tour member. You must be one of these in order to play, or an amateur. Can they change these docs and these bylaws so that next year they can't?
Yeah, they can change them whenever they want. From what I know, obviously I haven't had a conversation with it, but they run the majors the way they want, and they have their own qualification process. They can change those qualification processes at any time. Do I think they will? I don't know, but let's realize one thing: these Live Series events don't have any world ranking points, so these guys are going to drop out of the world ranking at some point in time, out of the top 50. So it doesn't qualify them for the majors. Now, a Dustin Johnson go back and play Augusta whenever he wants. A Lou Oosthuizen can go back and play the British Open whenever he wants because he's a past champion. A PGA champion who's Phil Mickelson go back and play the PGA whenever he wants.
So once you win a major, are you a lifetime? There is no, it doesn't time out.
Only
the U.S.
majors.
Open.
So U.S. Open, you have a 10-year exemption. Masters, you can play until you don't want to play anymore. And then I think the PGA and the Open Championship, I think they're age 60 if I'm correct on that. I think I'm correct. Both 60. So
they can play those because they've won if they're a past champion.
But there are no world. Kevin Na is not, in maybe a year he's going to drop outside the top 50 in the world. Now,
will that stay that way? Will there be no world golf ranking points from Live, or is that something that could change too?
I don't know. Let's just say the International Golf Federation, I believe, if I'm correct on this, runs the world golf rankings. Well, the International Golf Federation is made up of tours around the world, which are the PGA Tour, the DP World, the Sunshine Tour, the Japanese Tour, the Australasian Tour. I think the Asian Tour is in there, which is owned by Saudi now. But who's the big player in that IGF?
The PGA Tour. Right.
So as I've been told, like I said, all this stuff I've read or heard, I haven't really gone to the source or the expert to make sure these are valid claims. But I'm pretty confident that I heard that for a new tour to get world ranking points or to apply for world ranking points, they have to have 3 years of established, tournaments, and then based off those 3 years of established tournaments and what those fields have been, they can apply for world ranking points. And based off, what the fields have looked like, they can possibly get world ranking points. I believe I'm correct on that. But that's something that I've heard and read a little bit about. So I don't know. It's an interesting.
It's a crazy time right now in golf.
And let me just say this. The PGA Tour and DP World and some of these other tours hold a lot of the cards in certain situations. And it's going to be interesting how it all plays out going forward, because I said this already. I don't think banning and suspending players is a great look for the game of golf. If guys want to go play, let them go play. The PGA Tour has so many great young players coming up. We all know about Will Zalatoris. Will Zalatoris is a great player, and he's looking like he's going to win a tournament soon. Sooner or later. Obviously, we all know about his putting issues, but he strikes the ball unbelievable. And then you look at a guy like Cameron Young. Cameron Young is an unbelievable player and an unbelievable golfer, and he's going to win a lot on the PGA Tour. And so, I think the PGA Tour and what they're doing going forward, they're going to double down on their product. They're going to double down on the next generation of great players, and they're going to bet on those guys to be the next stars of the PGA Tour, because that's what they've always done, and they've always been successful. And Jay Monahan and Andy Pasner, I have so much belief and trust in them that we're going to do the right things, and then the people that are on the board and the player directors and the pack and just the players that want to be on the PGA Tour. We're going to make this even a better product going forward. That it's going to be hard to say, what, this is equal. The PGA Tour is upping their purses. The Live Tour purses are pretty much equal to what PGA Tour is, but they don't offer any retirement. They don't offer any health insurance. They don't offer any disability insurance. They don't, as far as I know, they don't have any child care on the Live Tour, so your family can come watch, and then your wife can go drop off the kids and watch your kids.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that has been, over 60 years to make our product great, and we're only going to make it better.
Real quick, one last question, Billy. Do you think we will see more big names, or do you think are there a lot of guys waiting to see how this first event goes and what happens? And do you think we'll see some more people leave other than what we've seen so far as of today?
Listen, is there going to be bigger? Are there going to be more big names? I'm going to say yes. I don't know of any more, but you're just looking at what has already been done already, and what other big names are we looking for? Roy McIlroy's come out against it. Justin Thomas come out against it. John Rahm's come out against it. I believe Jordan Spieth's come out against it.
What about Brooks?
Brooks has come out against it, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know. He's happy where we are. You look at Scotty Scheffler, Sam Burns. These guys are very happy and starting a legacy on the PGA Tour already, and so maybe there are another big name here and there, but I think what you're going to see is more the next tier guys below sort of fill it out. But who knows? We're all sort of, like I said, this thing's not going away anytime soon. We're 3 years away from probably even seeing what happens from all this. So,
will you be watching any of it?
I love golf. I watch golf.
I agree with you 100%. I will be on youtube.com tomorrow watching it. And I know that seems bad because I've stood against it the whole time. I've always kept my ground. I will say I've backed off a little bit in that I agree with you 100%. And that was where I was going to go, but you already went there. Was once you fulfill your PGA Tour membership requirement, why can't you go play wherever you want? And so, but with that being said, like I have also stated, I do have an issue with where the money's coming from. If it was somewhere else, when it was the PGL or whatever it was, I don't even know what happened to that. Yeah. Is that still a possibility?
From what I've been told, it is, but I think from what I've been told, he's been trying to get the PGA Tour to sort of work alongside the PGA Tour instead of go out on his own and do it. But obviously, from what I've been told, he's been trying to make this happen for almost like years now, and he hasn't come anything close. So, listen, there's going to be other people coming along, and
there's a lot of money out there.
As I said, everything I've said in all my media stuff, I've communicated directly with Pasner and Jay Monahan the way I feel about things and everything, and I may not always agree with the decisions the PGA Tour makes, but at the end of the day, they make the decision that's best for the product going forward, and for the next, decades to come. And so, like I said, I may not agree with everything that PGA Tour has, but it's still a pretty freaking great place to be at.
It really is. That's well said. Well, Billy, once again, man, congratulations on an amazing win at Memorial and all that comes with that. Winning at Jack's Place and shaking his hand has got to be up there, one of the top moments you've ever had walking off a golf course. So congratulations on that. Thank you for your time, man. Enjoy your what little bit of time you have off. I know we've got the U.S. Open coming up next week, and we will talk to Scott Stallings next week here. He is qualified. He did one of the qualifier events and is qualified for the U.S. Open, so we'll have him next week. But Billy, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it, and thank you for another edition of the Stripe Show podcast, man.
Thanks, Froggy. Always.
You got it, man.